This is about Sao Paulo, Brazil, the world's 12th largest city, which is about to run out of water. Sao Paulo is home to about 20 million people. The article, it's by Mike Adams of Natural News. I got it off of IntelliHub. And he talks about how short-sighted everyone is and how nobody thinks about the long-term implications because everybody's too busy to extract a buck or two out of the very system that will destroy their future. It brings it closer to home because, South America, Sao Paulo, Brazil, it's so far away. People don't even really care about that. So Vegas, Phoenix, Tucson will also run dry. Consider Las Vegas while you ponder all this. Here's a city with no water future whatsoever, continuing to build new casinos and grow its population, even as the water level of Lake Mead has already dropped to emergency levels and continues to plummet. What do the people of Las Vegas imagine they will drink when all the cheap, easy water is gone? Will they swallow the dust and pretend that it's water? The sobering truth is that nearly everyone who lives in Las Vegas doesn't think about this. By definition, anyone who realized the truth about the disappearing water throughout Nevada, Arizona, and California would have already sold their property and moved away. Those who still inhabit regions with unsustainable water supplies, such as Sao Paulo, are choosing to make believe the problem doesn't exist. It's that normalcy bias that everyone has. You just can't imagine. You can't imagine it because there's always been water. It's always been this way. And then some Americans foolishly believe the same government which just issued $1 trillion in new debt to pay the interest on its existing debt is somehow really, really good at planning for the future instead of mortgaging it away. If you did that with your credit cards, and a lot of people do that with their credit cards, it never ends well. It's impossible to issue more debt to pay for new debt. So unless some miraculous rain reverses the extreme drought, the city of Sao Paulo is about to experience a literal dry run of this scenario in as little as 60 days. The history of human civilization, as far as we know, has never witnessed a city of 20 million people run out of water before, and no one knows exactly how such a scenario might play out. That's a very interesting point, because the infrastructure is pretty good in Brazil, but not enough for the daily needs of 20 million people to supply them drinking water, let alone, bathing and cooking and so forth. So this is going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. Modern humans will not acknowledge reality until it slaps them hard in the face. Whether the subject is the chemical contamination of the world, the mass overfishing of the world's oceans, the pharmaceutical contamination of waterways, the using up of the world's oil reserves, the genetic pollution of crops with GMOs, the deep well pumping of water aquifers, or the unsustainable government debt spending that props up fraudulent government regimes everywhere, few people have the will to honestly acknowledge the future implications of today's actions. Most people prefer to just get by with the status quo. Besides, isn't there a holiday sale going on at Best Buy? And so, the citizens of the world will greedily drink down the very last drop of water remaining. They will fill their fuel tanks with the last gallon of gas, clear-cut the last remaining forest, fish the oceans into mass marine extinction, mine the last remaining rare earth elements out of the ground, and dam up the last free-flowing river on the planet. The appetite of earthlings for immediate satiation and quick turnaround profits can only lead to self-destruction. Having no illusions that if oxygen in the atmosphere could be turned into solid gold, people everywhere around the world would be incessantly mining the atmosphere for profit, until the entire global population died of asphyxiation. With their very last breath, they'd be saying, "But I'm rich." That's how I imagine people dying of asphyxiation would say that. So when Sao Paulo, the world's 12th largest city, collides with the reality in the next few months, which it's summer down in South America, it will be following in the footsteps of Easter Island, the Anasazi Indians, ancient Assyrians, and other failed civilizations which collapsed and died out long ago. If you are reading this, you are living in a time of great historical significance. You will be witness to the unfolding of the era of collapse across human civilization. This era has already begun, and although it may take a century to see it all unravel, future historians will view this era as a time of unbridled destruction of the planet at the hands of overextended human societies grounded in self-delusion.